Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome, respected Father Vice Chancellor, Pro Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Personal Officer, Controller of Exams, Directors, Deans, dear Father Lijo, heads, coordinators, ladies and gentlemen. The 12th edition of the Leadership Conversation is on today, and the topic is Community Engagement, a collaborative leadership model for increased efficiency and sustainability. A very, very heavyweight topic, I would say. The leadership chair organizes this session, and we all know that we've been going through these sessions and understanding, and every session is so rich that we all gain a lot of insights into the leadership journey of various faculty members, heads of institutions, etc. Now, as we all know, leadership, it's a very intricate topic. What does it mean to be a leader? How do leaders know when to lead and when to step back? What is the difference between maybe seeking command and being an effective leader? We all have our own versions of how we want to look at this aspect of leadership. But I think it's also important that we all have a kind of a feedback loop. We all have a kind of a network, a connect that we share, we care. We also look at how we are constantly thinking about what we've done and how we are doing things, and are we getting into a comfort zone while we are acting in the position of a leader. And I think it's also the one best piece of advice, I'm sure all of you will agree, is to constantly think about how we are doing and then question ourselves, are we doing right? Are we doing the things in the right way? Ultimately, I'm sure all of you will agree, leadership is not about that glorious crowning acts, but it is to keep our team focused. That's something which is very important. I'm sure all of us will agree. Keep the team focused, have a goal, motivate also to do, and then lead from the front, especially in a situation when the stakes are very high and literally the consequences matter. So it's about laying the groundwork for how or what success will mean to us, and then standing back and letting our team perform from the front. Having said all this, in terms of, I don't want to take much time, but to quickly introduce to you our star of today's program. We have amongst us Reverend Father Dr. Lijo Thomas, who walks the way, guides the way, and I'm sure all of us have seen him perform and lead from the front. Dr. Lijo Thomas, CMI, Father was a director of Sarga Kshetra. To give you a quick glimpse into Father's profile, was a director of Sarga Kshetra Socio-Cultural and Educational Counseling Center for 5 years between 2000 and 2010 in Kerala. Father also served as the pastor of a couple of churches in the United States of America for about 8 years. That's between 2010 and 2017. Father earned his PhD at the University of Louisiana, USA in 2014 on DREAMS, a community school university collaborative intervention model. Also served as an adjunct faculty at the University of Louisiana between 2014 and 17. The most important of all this is that Father was a founder and director of Let Us Dream International Annual Community Conference to promote community volunteer initiatives for greater community improvements at Louisiana Tech University, Riston, and later expanded it to India and Germany. Founder and director of Dreams collaborative intervention projects, basically for helping underprivileged students in schools and colleges with the help of local community. Father designed and implemented music intervention with the help of local community musicians to help underserved, musically inclined students to build their personal, interpersonal, and leadership skills. Father was a nominee for the Angel Award, Blue Cross Blue Shield Louisiana, on his community education intervention model. Father also is very active. We were just discussing yesterday evening on the plans for today's presentation, and sure Father has had a long day today because this morning he has inaugurated a virtual of leaders, of youngsters. I think that was at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. So the dedication, the hard work, the kind of intention to serve the society and build leaders from the society is something which is very close to Father Lijo's heart. I'm sure all of us have had a glimpse of the synopsis which was sent by the leadership chair, and there are a few very important words. One is sustainability, one is leaders are those who build great teams, and I'm sure we can't wait more to listen to Father. But before Father takes over, I would request the audience to place any questions you have into the chat, and then we will take it up one after another. In case you want to have direct interaction with Father Lijo, you raise your hand and then we can unmute you so that you are free to ask questions directly. In between, if there is any other details you would require, which could be answered even later, can also be put on the chat. At the end of the discussion, if there is any announcement which the registrar would like to make as usual and you want to come, maybe you can just let us know that we will also have time for some announcements at the end. So without further ado, I would invite very, very warmly Dr. Father Lijo, and over to you, Father.
So thank you all of you for joining this afternoon. And a couple of months back, Dr. Tony asked me to share my community engagement in terms of community leadership programs and activities. So as usual, I just pushed it for a couple of months, but he's very intelligent and smart. We know that. And last month, at the end of the leadership chair conversation, and he announced that next month, Father Lijo is going to do the presentation. So I was trapped. So I couldn't push it some more. I didn't get some more time. So thank you, Dr. Tony, for giving me this opportunity, and Mr. Sam for inviting me and helping with all this. This is a great opportunity, I think, to come and reflect collectively and share our experiences and our knowledge so that we can learn collaboratively. So I really appreciate this leadership chair for giving me this opportunity. So the topic I'm going to teach, let me use this PowerPoint. So the topic is on my community engagement, as Dr. Tony suggested. And this is more of a kind of a collaborative leadership model, which I have been exploring or experimenting and researching for the last 6 years. And multiple ways I failed. And I'm just going to tell you a story, how it started, in what all the ways I failed, and what all the ways I tried to fix it. So it's a continued journey, and which I have started in 1998. So the whole story, how this community engagement is actually established, it is through a platform. It's a purely virtual organization. It's called Let Us Dream. It's not a brick and mortar organization. There is no building. There is no nothing. It's just a collection of people coming together. This organization is purely established in the hearts of people. It's a purely vision driven. There is no office. There is no established system or stuff like that. But it's more of a driven by the vision, and it each is spread across different countries, and purely vision driven. So it's Let Us Dream is just an invitation to let's dream, let's come together, let's do something. So that's actually that the whole concept of this community collaborative leadership model. So this is actually established at this point for different around 13 cities in 3 different countries: USA, India, and Germany. And it is actually implementing this community intervention is actually implemented through 4 different programs. The first one is the Dreams program, which is actually a 3-year community intervention program for helping underserved kids for middle schools, government schools, and with the help of university students, and owned by local community leadership. And the second one is a community conference. Community conference is also to promote volunteerism among youth and college students. And instead of, because whenever we have problems, we can address in two ways. One is revolt. We can react, and the whole crowd and the media is after that. When you revolt, everybody will come after you. But the second way is resolve, to solve the problem. So, but that group is very small and it is very quiet. Nobody notices that. So the community conference is actually bringing those people who are actually resolving the problem, and they are doing it quietly. They are not very popular, and we are bringing those stories on this platform, and those stories will motivate our younger generation to become more solution focused generation than just revolting generation. So then the third one is a dreams band. It's a leadership training or holistic development through using music as a platform. It's basically for my own practice also. Otherwise, I won't practice my guitar. So it's I'm also lazy. So it's kind of a mutual helping each other kind of a project. And the last one is a professional club. This professional club is an exclusive coffee club. We meet once a month for 1 hour, and from different organizations, from different walks of life, we share the strategies, leadership strategies, the challenges, decision making, whatever a doctor is doing, a truck driver is doing. So it's all different. A housewife is doing. It's everything is different. So we share those models, and maybe we use those strategies for different situations in our situation, whenever we face these kind of challenges. So this is actually the 4 ways of implementing. So everything got began in, when I go back to the story, during my school days. During my school days, we had every Friday, last hour was for literary and cultural hour. That means we have to do showcase our talent, skills, music, singing, dancing, theater, or mono act, all kind of things. Most of my friends were so excited about that day, but I was not. So most of them, they said, thank God it's Friday, TGIF. But I never said that in my heart. In fact, I was kind of OGIF. Oh God, it's Friday. Oh God, it's Monday is a very common usage. We know that research has proven that there are more people get heart attack on Mondays. So for me, it was Fridays were very scary. I was so nervous. One day, I remember that that was my first and last time singing at school. I don't remember anything because I didn't have any other option. I had to sing, and so I sang, and I don't remember. It was everything was blurred and black, and just I remember that I coming back with bowed head to my seat, and nobody was clapping. It was very quiet silence, and that was kind of my last singing that I can remember from school life. And then it was the same thing with my games experience during our physical education hour. Two captains standing two sides, and they are picking the best ones to their team. At the end, I was standing, maybe a couple of them with me. We were just standing in the middle, and nobody wants us. And one captain is telling, you take him, you take him. It doesn't matter whoever, because we don't play really well. So it's kind of a disadvantage if we go to their team. So that exclusion was very painful, because we all have experienced one way or the other this social exclusion. So in fact, that experience, my childhood experience of exclusion, made me to think of inclusion or collaboration. I can also think of, I was just reflecting yesterday, one more point I could reflect was my lack of self-confidence also made me to think more collaboratively, because I knew that most of the target which I am setting up may not be accomplished by my own ability. So I thought of, I need somebody's help. I need some people with me to accomplish that goal. So these are the two things. So I am so grateful to God for my limitations and challenges and disadvantages I had and I am having right now, and actually helped me to resolve and coming up with some different projects and innovations. So my real action, the building of this, actually this project is happening in 1998, when I was doing my undergraduate studies in Aliva UC College. So I was playing a little bit of guitar, and so this particular band, you can see that picture. They approached me. They are looking for a guitarist, and because they got a really good band, really tight band, but their lead guitarist just graduated, so they are just looking for a rock band. Really need some guitarists. That's all. So they came to me. They said, "We need a guitarist. You play the guitar?" I said, "I play just chords, but I don't play the distortions and stuff." And then they left, but they came back. But they said, "Some you just come in, but we record everything. Synthesizer. We have synthesizer, so we record everything. You just act like you are playing. So that's it." So that was the beginning of. I joined the band, and then eventually I used that band for helping kids, underprivileged, shy, introvert kids like me, to encourage them through music, because that also gave us an opportunity to move and play in different locations. So it has two purposes. One is for our fun. The other one is with a small purpose of helping these kids. So, and at the end of that third year, 2001, we got an opportunity to sing. The band got an opportunity to sing on Jeevan TV for 5 episodes, Songs of Love. So that's why we named Dreams Songs of Love. That was the beginning of this small journey. And in 2002, I came to for my theological studies in Bangalore, Dharmaran College, and along with my friends, Father Josie was one of them, and we, with the inspiration from Dr. Abdul Kalam, and we started to working on these dreams in a different model. We restructured it to a mega show, not just a band, music alone. We added dance, theater, quizzes, and magician was Father Josie. So Father Josie is still doing magics in Lavasa. So that was, we it was a one month road show. Christ University actually supported us at that time, and to run this program. So the original band from UC College also joined this group. So like brothers, and also from the band, the original Dreams band, we collaboratively did this Dreams a vision for success. It was a Chavara Jayanti 200. So under that title, we visited almost 23 to 25 schools, and we addressed more than 50,000 students, high school, senior secondary students. So to promote their hard work and all those stuff. So then 2000, from there 2005 to 2009, we used this same music band into. I got an opportunity to collaborate or connect with few professional trainers, motivational speakers. So they suggested, let's use the music and training together. So we structured it into a 2 days training program for corporate, and also for teachers, and also for students, college students. So we went to different locations, and that was a wonderful journey. And eventually we moved it into a small summer camp, 5 days residential program. So it was more of a curriculum based, the structure, it's a summer camp. So from 1999 to 2009, or 1998 to 2009, it was kind of those 10 years, 11 years were more of a event based program. We were just doing some events, and that actually I started reflecting, because this is kind of a teaching and lecturing and preaching. We make some, we motivate them, but after that they just go back to their regular thing. So we are not transforming them. So one of my professors in 2010, I got an opportunity to do my PhD in University of Louisiana. So a couple of my professors actually encouraged me to develop this as a real scientific model. So develop with the curriculum, with workbook, with a real schedule. It's not just a 5 days program. It won't transform anybody. It's just an event. They asked me to make a program. Program is different from events. Events is just for satisfaction. Just you make some, you are not transforming them. So it's not really educational. If you want really educational, make them involved consistently, do the follow-up, and evaluations and all those things. So that's the beginning of a complete community driven program. So in 2010, 2011, this project is designed into a university school community intervention program. So how? Because most of the time we know that our school system, when I say schools, all our education system, earlier it was more of a community thing. It takes a village to raise a child. It was a saying, but now it's kind of a business whether it is a government or public or parochial, everything is kind of, parents, the public thinks that, okay, that their business, maybe they're with those who are with their parents, parental community, that's all, not the community. The village doesn't own this. So that there is that disconnect, that the gap is has been growing. And this program we have developed to bridge that gap, and how we can bring that community expertise and knowledge back to the colleges and schools, and so that these students would get a real, not only students and at the same time faculty as well, we get a comprehensive knowledge, because we just label ourselves as we are the knowledge holders. It's not true. Knowledge is out there. So bringing knowledge together, that was with the help of these professors, we could develop it as a real scientific model and 3-year curriculum based model based on these are the some aspects which we have concentrated on their holistic development, which is personal, interpersonal, and leadership skills through bridging communities. Because of these particular situation, youth are exposed to these kind of situation. We are alienated from this public, because the stories of the communities are not really transferred to the next generation, because there is a disconnect between the generations. So how we can bridge that gap? So that's how we developed is a sequential model, and desire, readiness, empowerment, action, and mastery for success. So that is actually the dreams. But original dreams was not this. It's just a dreams, just like Dr. Abdul Kalam's concept of dream high, those kinds of. But we have restructured into the whole concept, and we come to with a lot of theoretical support, and we have developed as the first 2 steps as the operating system, because the motivational factors are extrinsic. Desire is more extrinsic, and readiness is more intrinsic. Then we are focusing on their empowerment, and really doing it, empowering it, and reaching that excellence or mastery would reach to success. It's a cyclical process. It will reach to. So the theory was developed. This model was developed based on these couple of a few theories, which you can see, that future orientation, motivational theories, and goal setting theories, self-determination theories. And it is really implemented through this way: community, university, and schools or organization, because I will tell you why that organization, schools or organization, I will explain as we are moving on. So the community is the key factor here, because university and school, they are floating. There is a high fluidity. They are always moving. And so we are looking at more of a consistency and sustainability of the project only through that community people. Who are the best right person for that? Retired people. After 56 or 60, they are the best time to serve. They have a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience, and they are already settled in that local community. They are not going to move out. So we try to tap that resource. And with their help, they will be the directors, and the local leadership completely under their leadership. We connect the university and schools. And that's how, through these 4 different projects. And that's how we do that project. From 2014 onwards, we started replicating. Initially in 2012, this Dreams program got approval from the Washita school system. They adopted this program in their school system for all the middle school kids. Then in 2014, and from people from Dallas got inspired, and they wanted to replicate it. And then from there to different locations. And what they are doing is, in every time, what I try to do is, I get on my Facebook and I identify the location-based people. I get a set of people, and out of that, I call each of them. Hey, how are you doing? Are you? I'm doing this kind of program. Are you interested? And when I talk to them over the phone, some might get inspired. They said, okay, Father, you come over. If you can drive up to here, maybe on weekend, I can cook. Maybe I can invite all my friends. And during the dinner, you just explain to them. They might be interested. So that is the beginning. So every location, I tried 1 or 2 people I got from their friends, and I got through their friends, and we got a bigger number. That is the real community. They actually connected with the university, local university, local schools. So they get the permission, and they really start this project. So by the time we have developed a project manual and also workbook, and everything is structured, it was so easy to replicate. So right now, in this project is actually established in 12 cities in USA, India. Sorry, actually 13. including Germany. And that is what we are right now. And in 2011, I have also got an opportunity to start this music band, again helping underserved kids to build their self-confidence through music. And so this one, again, I thought of, okay, naturally we go after popular musicians, okay, because I know so many of them are good musicians, and I approached all these people from the different bands, even from church bands. So I asked, hey, I have this plan, would you mind help us? They said, oh, that's a good idea, Father, wonderful, you go ahead and do it. So that kind of, they are not willing to share their time. So now, after a couple of times, I understood that won't work, because they are all, they are all popular. I have to look for the reverse, those who are not popular, they are hidden. So I started asking people random, so, and you can see that one old guy, he's sitting there, and I asked, hey, Mr. Lamar, you play guitar? And he looked at my eyes and said, why are you asking? How do you know that? I said, I do not know, I just ask. I'm just asking. And yeah, I play, but I never ever played in my life outside. Nobody knows that I play, because except my family. So I said, yeah, why can't you help me? We have something, we can do something. We can come together on Sunday, maybe 2 to 4, and we can get these kids, not the musician kids, we don't do audition. We just random, anybody interested learning music, we teach them from the scratch, and we build them as a leader. So for after 8 years of that journey, we could help at least 135 students, kids, elementary kids. Of originally, I started with the youth, but I found that it's not working, because youth, they are not consistent. So I focus more on elementary kids, because they are more under the control of parents. So that is a little bit about this um, um, Dreams Band. So in 2015, I had a, sorry that you may not be able to see me. I lost my power, but you can see the display, PowerPoint. So in 2015, I had a lot of stress, the pressure to give up this project, because by the time my research is over, the primary purpose has got over. So then many of my close friends and my authority asked, it's better not to do this, because this is not safe, because the people, the kids you are dealing with are not really safe, because they are from a very challenging family background. Many of them are not from their, with the parents, they are with their grandparents or aunts, and like a lot of challenges. So it can happen, anything can happen. They may sue you, and you'll be incarcerated, and why do you get into those troubles? Because you are not doing these things under. After the research, university also stepped away from this project, because they didn't have any things. So it was kind of a neutral organization, kind of community. So it was not under a church, it was not under university. So it was purely community. So that was the time. That was they really cared for me. That's the reason why they shared. Again, the same thing outside also. Even those stakeholders, you know, they were not grateful either. So, and many of my volunteers were giving up. They just wanted to leave. So those situation, I was really thinking about giving up, and I think I have to stop. Then that during that Christmas season, it was, I still remember 2014 December, that time, one of my friends, actually, Mr. Philip and his wife, came to wish me Christmas, and then I took them to my kitchen, and I prepared some tea. And while I was in kitchen, and they also came to the kitchen, and they looked at my refrigerator. They saw some pictures, the dreams groups, different years pictures, and they asked me about, what is this program. I said, this is what, but I am going to stop this. I'm not going to continue this. Then they said, don't do that, because we also went through the similar program. Then they started sharing their story. Their program is called Pilots for Patients. Pilots. He's a pilot, and his friends, he got a private flight, and he got connected with few other uh, friends, and they in fact they started sharing, using their flights for helping underprivileged, or maybe those people, cancer patients who cannot go with their regular commercial flights for because of their infection and all those stuff. So then he told me, I'm doing my 5,000 flying for these poor people. So I also had a similar situation. I thought of giving up, but I never stopped. I have my own business. This is what I am doing for just my, fun, at the same time helping others. So these kind of projects should continue. So consistently, he helped me and encouraged me to continue that. With my association with that organization, helped me to connect with so many other similar small organizations like that. Like community, small and insignificant. It's not very popular. Not organization with the big establishment or big bank accounts or anything, not funded programs. So that was the beginning. I thought, I think we need to bring all these people, all these stories together under university. So that these stories should be shared. These models should be, shared to the next generation, so that our next generation will be much more solution focused than they stop revolting and stop, whenever they see problems, they start actually resolving problems and they become the solution. So that was the beginning of a new project called Let Us Dream Community Conference. I always wanted this conference really, really free. That was one of my things, because most of the time conferences, I didn't like conferences my younger days. Even now also, I'm not really so much excited about conferences. The one reason is most of these paper presentation goes like this. I mean, I may not understand maybe certain areas which I am interested, maybe I might be interested, but these people are coming and talking big things and from paper, from brain. So from that time onwards, even my younger days, I was thinking, why can't people come and share their stories? Hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what I failed, and this is what I'm maybe successful. I'm still trying, and still this is my journey. So that makes it, maybe much more impressive. So, and also we wanted to bring networking and collaboration and bridging this knowledge. Of course, most of the time, papers are presented from theoretical background. So how come we can bridge researchers' knowledge and practitioners' knowledge together on a platform? So that was the beginning of, I developed this kind of, introducing local community service models to the younger generation and college students, and promote community volunteerism. Once they see this kind of volunteerism, they will definitely come to different initiatives. They will join this kind of initiative, and then when they come up with different problems, they will come up with more solution than and raising the problem. So that was the beginning when I approached different organizations, because we want a facility, because we free. So I approached different organizations. One University of University Louisiana State University, LSU. Actually, I approached because I was in the city, and I approached them. They said that's a good idea, but these kind of free things won't work in USA. Maybe it work in your country, in India, but it won't work because nothing is free here. Why can't you charge just $50? You take that $25 for your expenses, at least paying the food and the facility, all administrative expenses, and $25 for us, so that we can at least pay for the air conditioning, and just, we don't want profit. We just want that maintenance expense. But I said, no, that doesn't work, because I want it for free. Then they said, no, that doesn't work for us either. So that was the end of that conversation, that meetings. And then finally, I approached my own university, Louisiana Tech University. There I approached, I know that was not in the real heart of the city. So, but I have to compromise to that particular part. Then this particular community intervention, community outreach programs director, social service wing, the director was my classmate, Dr. Lindsay. So she said, okay, Father, whatever you are saying, let's try. Let's give it a try. So that's how we started 2017, this particular conference, with the help of local community committee members. Committee members are made by this local community people, and then university representative, and representatives from different organizations, local NGOs. They will collaboratively together create a committee of 10 to 12 members. So that is how we have established this conference. The conference was really successful, and the deans and the president came, and we wanted to continue this program. Is that okay? We continue annually? I said, please, let's do it. So we started, we continue this journey, and eventually we got an opportunity to present in Binghamton University, New York, and they got excited. They wanted to start it. Then they said, okay. Then I thought, okay, I said, like typical conferences, let me move this to another location. Then the Louisiana people said, no, we are not coming. We are not spending $300 or $400 for flying to New York and staying getting an accommodation. And that's not the purpose. Why can't you typically use the same, your model, dreams model? Every location, you start your own committee. So then that was how we started in Binghamton. So again, Facebook search, that's the only purpose I use Facebook. So get all these people and locate it and start calling them. So we have made around 8 to 9 members with from the local community. And then we have started in Binghamton. And when I came to Christ University, we have started one here, one in Trivandrum. So now this local conference is now in different locations annually. Every location is happening. Everything is led by that local committee leadership. So, but in 2020, another challenge, pandemic situation. So in 2020, we thought of connecting all these local community conferences together as a one platform, at least once in 3 years, so that they will be connected as a one local community, local conference. But we have Vice Chancellor permitted to do this over in Christ University in November 2021, 22nd. But we planned for everything. But by the time in March, we had to change to this conference as a virtual conference. So then we have to restructure everything, the organizational chart, and we have restructured everything. So now it is Christ University not alone hosting, along with Christ University, other 5 universities who are already wherever this conference is already established, these places are actually co-hosting it. So it's like, so thereby we created a core committee, the decision-making committee, representing from all these universities, 5 universities, like we have 2 members from each university. So they are the final decision-making body. And along with that, and we have 3 chairs, and I will explain to you what is that 3 stands for. And then we have different or more than 12 subcommittees. In every subcommittee, we have more than 10 members. So that means the organization committee itself is around 100 people. They meet virtually in different conference, different platforms, and they meet and they plan and they organize, they develop everything. So again, what are we going to miss for a virtual conference? Which is the key of every conference is networking. Because virtual conference, we don't have that opportunity. So what we are trying to replicate, with this conference, we create an organizing committee, a huge number, so that they will start working together. There is not much work, but they start every week. They come together and start working for a purpose, sparing small little time, and it's not because the more number is not on everybody. It's not on one person's shoulder. It's everybody's job, and there they create a huge networking. 3 months of journey together, working together, from people from internationally, from different walks of life, from different organizations, from not only from universities, non-profit organization, anything. Anybody has that kind of mindset of entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship, and benevolence for the good of the people, they can join. So it's just the heart. You are really interested. Are you ready to give back to the community? That's the only question. We don't care where you are from, what you do, all those things. And this is where we bring together that we create a multiple. So in this particular organization, this is organizational structure, and we have international networking, keynote speakers, responsible person, panel discussion for, we have 3 different areas we focus. One is health, social work area, a health area where people are serving for free services, and then social work area, and the third one is education. So there are so many, these three different areas, and this conference is actually inaugurated by all the presidents of each of these universities, host universities, and where this conference is already established as an annual conference. So this year there won't be any annual conference on this location, only this virtual conference. So all these 4 projects, I just explained only 2 projects. We have pro club, professional club, and also the band, all those things. And all these purely based on human capital, purely based on timeshare concept, 100% collaboration, and it is 100% owned by the local community. So that's how it is. The local leadership is built, local leadership is expanded, and it is purely hard work, not a dollar work, not a rupees work. It's more of hard work, and we come together. And then there is no infrastructure, no building, no maintenance, no scaling, and all kind of things are actually removed from that. So those challenges are actually removed. So what are the key takeaways of an education institution? Basically, this this collaboration, community collaboration, actually bringing in, connecting universities and schools and community, especially that resources, which we are not being, we are not really tapping, is the retired people, retirees, and their other organizations, because we connect with other organizations, collaboratively working together. It's different from we are doing internship, their goal. There is not a common goal. When people are coming together toward a common goal, the stake is equal, and everybody is working for a neutral goal. The neutrality is very significant in this project. Instead of we are internship, okay, when I go for internship, actually they have their own objective, I have my own objective. There is a clash. And here, there is no clash. You are leaving your personal objective over there at your organization. I'm leaving at my organization. I'm coming together for a common objective, where we come together and create, recreate, and reconstruct our models and strategies, and so that we come together and work together for a common goal. So that is a unique a platform where they get a neutrality. And then it brings a theoretical and experiential knowledge, because we are always collaborating and connecting with our faculty members, only teachers or maybe students. So what about the other people from other walks of life? So we have to get their knowledge, their experience-based knowledge, and all those things will definitely open up our mindset. And the faculties will collaborate and work with people from different organizations, will definitely change their mindset completely. So, and also we are telling our students and our future leaders, economic values are not the only key value for of our any business. Social values are also very significant. You know that most of our bigger uh, corporates and bigger businesses, they have their own key social values are very much attached to it. We are all aware of it. And and that was the time, 2017, beginning of another challenge, and I was called back to Damaram, to my place. My superior called me, and I think you have to come back. And I said, can I get at least one more year? And then, I was not happy with that. I thought I would get a little more time, because I was so worried that I'm leaving all this, which I have worked so hard and built it for like 80 years, and it all these cities and this location. I was really starting, and I was also thinking of doing more and starting, because I started one in Houston, and I also started another research, because so much of things actually made me so sad, and I tried my best to avoid that, but then I realized that it's not true, because I have to leave. That moment, I thought of what is my exit plan, how is this project is going to sustain. So for the last 2 3 years, until that, really I was facing with this challenge, I thought of, I was creating a hierarchical model of, I'm creating under some under me, and that person, under that person there will be a couple of other people. So hierarchy was the typical model, and then later I realized that that is not really working, because the person whom I tried with the hierarchy model actually created a bottlenecked impact, because that he was not really approving anything, and it's kind of a project is more possessive, and he was not including more people, and that was going against the vision of the whole concept. So then I was started reflecting about these concepts, which you can see on this slide, because the universe is, everything is three, triarchic. So you know that universe is created by time, space, mass, and each of these elements is, in three elements, like past. Time is past, present, future. Space is height, width, depth. Matter is solid, liquid, gas. And you know that even the smallest particle, atom, has three elements: at electron, proton, neutron. Then you know that war is, or conflict even started with three elements. One is like emotions and chance. Sorry about that. And then intelligence is based on our the human relationship is three: self, other, God, and see vertical relationship. These three actually help me. I thought of, okay, three, because I don't completely believe in that flat leadership, purely flat leadership. So I wanted a merge of both hierarchy and flat together. So that's why I thought of coming up with a different name, triarchic or trichotomic leadership model. I don't know. I'm still confused whether I should keep that triarchic or trichotomy, which is the right word, because originally I thought of using that model for name as a triangular leadership model. Then I changed it to a trichotomy. I'm still debating and deliberating on this. Maybe you all can help me, because all these professors, you can guide me to which is the right word for this model. So this model has three leaders, three directives. So this is always dynamic. It's always given to different responsibilities, specifically given, but at the same time, always addressed together. When I'm calling a meeting, I'm not calling one director. I call always conference call. That way, that each single phone call is a training, because whatever I'm telling one person should be heard by the other person. It's a kind of a training for that other person. So one of the reasons why I started this, because this kind of voluntary program, people can give up anytime, because this is their fifth commitment or sixth commitment, not a priority. So whenever they have challenges in their family or their career, they will just give up this. So if I want to sustain this project, I should have multiple legs, multiple pillars. Otherwise, this will collapse totally. So that's why we put three leaders, and based on that concept I shared with you. So I separated responsibility to each of them, have a specific roles. These are the roles I specific. So each leader gets another three under them. So it goes on that three replicate in a flatter section. But you ultimately you see a hierarchy in it, but it is more of a flat hierarchy. So it's that's the model. So we are using this infrastructure on those things. So in all these process, all these models actually connected to that creating that project networking is that's how we develop this. So advantages. Here are a couple of advantages which I see, and I have experimented this at church, and I saw that after I left, he stayed for one more year. Then that collapsed. Now it is collapsed because I have been interviewing a couple of my leadership, which are whom I assigned. Then couple of reasons for that, because I'm not going into those failure reasons, but I'm aware of it. I'm fixing it, because leadership is very significant and important. When the succession plan would definitely important for giving this, keeping this model to continue. So it has one of the greatest thing for this model, which I feel is less politicking, because no three people can come together with a one common goal, because they will be a split. So of course, two will definitely come. So that means I have another chance, because I'm in as a leader, the director is invisible. We are not directly involved in it. So that, but in the situation comes, the conflict comes, I can definitely hear the three different aspects of a problem. Then we can really the diversity. Otherwise, we will be driven by only one side. So that will create a wrong decision making. So, and also it will definitely create a less effort and less workload, so that we can save that attrition part. We'll get more people involved, and it is more sustainable. Of course, we have three pillars, so which is survival mode is in a survival mode, and it is better connected, better reliability and continuity. Oh, sorry, I think I am taking too much of time. So that's about the model, leadership model, triarchic model. So as a conclusion, I just wanted to say that for all of us, this is a great opportunity. College is a great environment with full of resources. We have full of resources with enthusiastic young minds. They are ready to experiment anything, and we have a mature senior group, intellectuals to guide us. So these two group can definitely collaborate and work. We can do so much of a proper mix where we can really experiment to create some changes and innovate and create some impact in the community, connecting with that. So why this is really important that we have to connect with the community, because the fluidity, the students will come and go. Maybe after 3 years or maybe 5 years, they will leave. So after 5 years, who is going to continue this? And in faculty, we may get another responsibility. We cannot take the responsibility, but somebody else, the local community, should take the responsibility and the leadership, so that it will continue in collaboration with the school and university or local organization. So that non-organized individuals from the community, local community, will be that responsible person for connecting two different major organization, non-profit organization or school system or education system. So that's how we can definitely solve this problem. So this is just a small story. I know that this is nothing from any book or anything else. It's just a very raw thoughts based on my purely reflections. And based on my observation, my experimentation, I really thank you for listening, all of you. So if you want to learn more about it, please visit that website, letustream.org. That is the only building we have, that organization has. It is handled by different people from different parts of the world, and YouTube channel. And you can go to and see that different activities are going. And it's just different initiatives of different people on a single platform called Let Us Stream. Thank you very much, all of you, for listening. Appreciate all of you.
Thank you, Father. Thank you very much. And that was indeed a true representation. I would rather say it was a language of the heart. It was very passionately presented. Um, while I give time for our participants to put in your questions into the chat, just quick borrowing of thoughts from whatever Father Lijo mentioned. I'm sure all of you would have paid attention. And what was fantastic is about the abbreviation itself, the desire, readiness, the empowerment, action, mastery, and success. I think it is so very well put. And there is always, if you look deep into it, because we've had some instances of interacting with Father Lijo on the campus and also on the Project Dreams. So it is so very well knit. When you look at the document, you will see how one connects to the other, and it is really fascinating. Now, what we will do is, like Father said, it is definitely a story, and one beauty about a personal story is that nobody can contend it, and that's a true story, and that's evidences from the real life journey. So, thank you, Father. It was really very insightful. We will start taking the questions. I think the first question which has come is, what is the secret of Father Lijo's energy level? That's an interesting question. That is from Divakar sir. Okay, Father, you would like to take that question?
When we have more and more dreams, we get more motivated because this is more. We all learned that extrinsic motivation is not going to last longer, right? In fact, it is actually creating a negative impact for the long run. So multiple studies have done on those kind of extrinsic motivation. But extrinsic motivation is very key, very important. But more important is the intrinsic factor. So how we, because this whole project is based on that intrinsic motivation. So motivation is whenever we get more new ideas and creative thinking, and we bring in a lot of people. Of course, don't think that I'm always energetic, but a lot of disappointments and frustrations. And when you do more things, we definitely get that. And when we approach, if you want to get a one volunteer, I have to approach maybe 10 to 15 people. All these 10 to 15 people are saying no to my face is very painful to take. But if I can, but still I will reach the same 15 people again for the next project. But I'm not leaving them. I'm leaving them for that particular project, but there might be something else for that particular project. So it keeps on going, connecting and handing. Once it is get matured, I hand it over to those right people who are actually taking that, so that I can move on. Otherwise, yeah, that's something I don't know about. Yeah.
I think that there was also a connecting question. I'm sure you found the answer for it. How do you build it for people management skills is what was a connecting question by the same participant. Like Father explained, it is, how you connect, how you network. So that was very beautifully answered. We have another question. Malika Man says it is a beautiful story and has wished you well, Father. The next question is, any view on two-level parallel leadership understanding? I acknowledge the triangle leadership methodology you have described. So I really don't know what the question is, but I'm thinking the question is, any view on two levels? So the levels which you had described, maybe they want some more clarity on that parallel leadership understanding. Is there anything you want to connect on that question?
Can they unmute?
Yeah, I think that would be better. For clarity, you may unmute.
Father, good afternoon. Jyoti ma'am, good afternoon, and good afternoon to all the respected panelists and the participants. Father, I was really excited when you told about the triangle leadership. I've heard about the followership, from Father Benny and Father Thomas E. Matthew, the previous Vice Chancellor, in our meetings at Kengeri campus. And we've also recently understood about the servant leadership. And why I talked about the two-level or family leadership was after me and my father, my dad, when we speak in our conversations at our home, he always tells there are two important things. There is day and night, there is right, wrong, there is God and evil. There are male, female. There are all these things happening with these two things, by head and tail for a coin. So I was trying to understand, can there be a parallel leadership mechanism which will go hand in hand, which will shake hand also somewhere in between, and then give a better outcome for the society or the community which is around. But
Sure.
your understanding on the hierarchical and the flat leadership, you connected it beautifully with the three things, and you have given lots of examples on the atom perspective, on the emotional perspective, on those three parameters that you have taken into constraint, the space, time, and the matter. So I was trying to understand, can there be a parallel leadership also, which will help and give maybe some better outcomes? I have not seen any literature. I'm sorry for that. I didn't do any background on my question. That was there in my thought. I thought I'll just post this question. Maybe you can, if you have some understanding on that, whether can it be connected somewhere in between this flat, hierarchical, and the parallel. That's what my understanding.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Kumar. That's a really good question, because I couldn't also find any literature supporting this. This is a purely reflective and experimental kind of a model. We are still exploring. So if anybody has some literature, what I can find is that intelligence, the three-level triarchic intelligence, is creative, practical, and uh, um, what's the third one? Rational intelligence. So these are the three what I could find. But yes, the middle part, that's true in religious perspective. And also we know that you said that coin has two sides, right? In fact, there is no dichotomy. There is no dichotomy in reality. If there is dichotomy, means that's a trichotomy. I will explain. You said we have two sides of coin, but there is a third side. What about that third side? But it's very abstract. The moment you touch on the third side, it is, you say that day and night, but there is a point we can say that it's not day, it's not night. That is why we coming with that trichotomy concept. The reality is three in everything. So which is again, that's why that's a very subtle point where we can, for example, if I'm going to point a time is called, I cannot say that this is day or night, but there is one. So that's why I'm saying that it's abstract. So this trichotomy is a reality, because that's a parallel middle path which is actually guiding us to. So we should not go too extreme on liberalism, or not too extreme for organizing structuralism. So we can have a middle path, because by nature we are all having that we swing in one way or the other, one side or the other. But we should aware of that limitation of one side, and we have to make an effort to go to the other side, so that we will come closer to that bell curve, the middle path, where we can be at least as much as possible the reality, closer to the reality. So that's my explanation for that, the parallel, the third leadership understanding.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that question. In the chat box, I see there are no more questions left. I'm sure that you're still constructing your questions. But while another question comes, Father, maybe I will ask you, it's not a question, but a suggestion. We are a university with a very old tradition of our CSA. And whatever we do, we are doing it keeping the student at the center, the student orientation, towards community engagement. And at any given point in time, we have three generations of teachers, dealing with the students. We have the seniors, we have the sophomores, and we have very young new teachers. How is it that, through our daily engagement, we know primarily we are there for academics, we teach, we learn, but then definitely one of our core values also speaks about societal responsibility, etc. And how is it that keeping the student at the center, orienting them so that there is a sustained effort in their connect. Like you very rightly mentioned in your presentation, after 3 years or 5 years, the students leave. And then you have, something which is pending, which has to be done. How is it that the teacher can take it forward? What should be the motivation level? Because it's not just the motivation of the students, but it is also the motivation of the teachers to get it rolling, to get it connected. Because at any given point in time, it's a collective responsibility of both the students and the teachers. So what do you think we can do in order to sustain this motivation, both from the students' perspective and from the teachers' perspective? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, was coming up with this in US. They already said that we have more than 600 interventions already from funded by federal government. So most of these intervention models are actually supported by billions of dollars supported funded projects. So it's coming on the shoulder of the same teachers who are already busy with their teaching and tests and all those things. But that's one of the reasons why we thought of tapping that resource, because if I'm going to introduce the same model and sharing this model to teachers, this is not their priority. They have the intention, they want to do this, they want to serve this, the lower level strata, the students, to help them, but we don't have time for it. We know that how we are all moving, we are all so crazy and we have so much of things to do. We don't have time for to see that. But there comes, we can connect these retired people or local people who wanted to do something extra. Maybe they might have been dreaming of becoming a teacher, but because of the other pressures of life, they might have chosen for a higher paid job or stuff like that, but their passion is still in there. So we can bring in those people and connect them, and they are already settled, and they will be continue, but they will, but we will supervise. Faculty would definitely supervise it, and we don't have to do the work. And that's how we connect the triangular model really working in everything, not only in the leadership, in the implementation part also. You have seen that triangular model. So and the consistency and student centeredness, of course we have to ask that, asking questions to the students. I will share my story, which I can share what happened this morning. I had to wake up at some 4:30, and because in Dallas they are they are actually introducing a virtual summer camp, Dream Summer Camp. So let me tell you that story behind it. 3 months back in March, I called all these chapters and I officially said, it is COVID. We cannot do. Everything is closed. We cannot do the summer camp this year. Everything is frozen. Nothing. So then one couple of students, youth college students from Kerala, they said, Father, why can't we do something differently? Then it was like on my face. I said, they are teaching me, that kind of attitude. And I said, what is that? What is how are you going to do this summer camp without, being together? Then they said, why can't we call all these students over the phone and talk to them every other day and give some activities based on your curriculum? I said, yeah, then you try. Then, let me see. Then they come up with a real great plan. That was a telephonic camp. They planned it for, instead of 5 days summer camp, they planned it for 5 weeks. So they settled every activities what we are doing. They replaced it with the small activities that can do it at home, and they report it and they type it, take a picture and send it to these mentors, and mentors will submit at the end. And we did that. Many of these kids may not have their internet or facility, very poor background, but they did real phone calls. They have to wait until evening. Their parents come back after their work. So they scheduled it and they worked it, and it was amazing commitment. That really opened my eyes. And I introduced those students to teach our college students, because we have dreams volunteers. I called all of them. Let's ask them to share those ideas. Then our group also started in Krista Vidyalaya Kannada medium school and in Christ school, and also in different locations. So then I asked these Bangalore team to present it in US. So they addressed in a US group. Then they taught them we can do something innovative. And then American group, they said, okay, we are going to really do not a telephonic thing. We are going to do a Zoom real camp with breakout session activities and games and videos and like Kahoot and all those things. And that was the inauguration today. They did a pilot one day. They trained themselves, and 72 people attended. So that was, so they all did it. We are So the problem is sometimes we think that we know better, because I was thinking one first time when they said that, I thought, okay, I have been doing this for like 20 years. You are telling me it's possible. So that attitude actually came out of my mouth initially. But if you trust these young people, they have much more knowledge and expertise than we have. So first of all, we have to accept that, and we have to step back instead of intruding in their space. And of course, we have to correct and we have to oversee that what they are doing. But I think that's my lesson, which, from the last 3 months, I learned this lesson. So I think that's what we need to do.
I really agree. We've seen that time and again in our own institutions, that whatever creative work which our students put up together is all their initiative. They come together, but like you said, it is just that the push which is required just to be there. And recently I was reading an article which said, who is a good leader is somebody who is just available. So one of the important aspect is you just be available, and I think that is the greatest of anything which we can do. So thank you for that answer. I think there's one question from our registrar who says, what do you think our academic leaders in the institution should be doing? Registrar, deans, HODs, looking at the community engagement and development from your perspective. So the question is, what do you think that we should be doing? That's the question.
I think we are not really tapping our community connections. We bring all these people for inauguration. After that, we get a bouquet and they go goodbye. We search for somebody else. It's like a more of an event. So that's the transformation I was talking about. Event to program. So program, why it becomes a program? When we evaluate, reflect, continue to correct them, and every department, if they can have a bunch of people who have visited our campus, they should be invited for our Magnificat. They should be invited for, it's like a special guest, because we are sending a personal invitation. If SW sends an invitation, nobody would come. They are not connected. It's just but if I invite my friends, definitely come. So why can't we bring them over here? And maybe, sometimes now this is the best time. We are doing our class virtually. So in every class, most of the time, I bring in my friends. So last time I brought somebody from UK and one from Dubai. So when I taught TQ, total quality management, so I got a quality control director from Dubai. So she came and spoke maybe 10, 15 minutes. That interaction and gives a lot of experience for these students. So I think this is a great opportunity while we are on virtually. We have to do more, and at the same time we have to develop in every department. We have to develop our community connections and organizations, and we have to be connected to them. We have to develop a center or desk who is taking it with the help of students. Of course, we are not going to send the emails. The students should do that emails, but organized by or with the leadership of a faculty member, so that they would bring a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, a lot of connectivity, and we know that money is nothing. Money will come and go, but people, human resource is the key. Human resource is there, you get money and everything. So bring in, connect with those people, and see, we all can do this much. Or this is all my maximum I can have it. So if we all can hold this much, we all can have a huge number of people for the organization. So I can be in my checklist maybe, or my contact list maybe 10 to 15 or 20 people, maximum 50 people. More than that, I won't be able to have a real good connection. So I think we all think of having at least one of us should be connected to somebody from outside. Somebody means a few group of people. So that is our strength.
Thank you, Father. I think the message is there is no substitute to networking. There is no substitute to building relationships and having them come over and then guide us, help us in whatever we are doing. And sometimes I'm sure it's just some kind of a feedback also which will help us, take the things forward. So thank you very much. I think the next question is from Professor Pal Pandian. I think you will have to unmute and go ahead with your question, sir.
Yes, madam. Yeah. Very good evening, Father, and very good afternoon, all professors in this forum. And really, it was a very fantastic presentation on community, Father. And even when our one of my colleague from computer science department, Mr. Professor Dr. Gukkatpalli Pradeep, he was asking about parallel leadership, right? And he was mentioning we have both the side, cold, hot, day, night, plus, minus, and all. And you rightly said that even coin has three sides actually. When you take any coin, you can rightly say a head, tail. In between there is a thickness, right? So the thickness, it makes the two-dimensional into three-dimensional, right? So here, and I'm really very much appreciating you, Father, regarding your triactic leadership, right? So really, it gives analytical intelligence and practical intelligence and even creative intelligence. So these intelligence will make a leader in a successful follower sometimes, right? And I would like to add one more thing with our Dr. Our Professor Jyoti Kumar Madam said, no, she was explaining or expanding your abbreviation, DREAM. So after understanding your entire presentation, Father, so I would like to abbreviate your DREAM into a different pattern. So dynamic, responsible, efficient, able movement for community. So that is what immediately it came to my mind. So I was texting in the box. So DREAM is nothing but dynamic, you are responsible, efficient, able movement for community. So this is what I would like to what you call highlight your presentation, Father. And you rightly said money doesn't matter, right? So I'm an MBA graduate. So whenever I used to teach quality management subject for my engineering students, right? And there are 5 M's that is very much important to run any business in a successful way. So the first M is man, then comes method, then comes machine, then comes materials, at last money comes. So man, human resource is very, very important to be a successful businessman in any entrepreneurship. So I was recollecting all those my points when you are giving answer to all other process question, Father. Really, I enjoyed your presentation, Father. It is a fantastic presentation, Father. So thank you very much for all your insights, Father.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very much,
for
the
that.
team. Yeah.
Yeah, I like those abbreviations. I might use it. Okay. You.
Welcome, Father. Welcome.
Thank you, Pal Pandian sir. That was more than a question. It was a roundup of what everyone thinks about the presentation today. I don't find any other questions in the chat box. Maybe we can take one more minute and wait if there is any question, but otherwise, maybe a last question, Father Lijo, to you. Now that we have a lot of new teachers, we have new generation teachers, very, very new. For some of them who've joined us, it is the profession itself is new. At least in our university, for all those who've been in the system for some time, we know what the culture is, what the system is, what is it that we really mean by being socially responsible, and build that or ignite that social entrepreneurship minds in the students. Do you have any parting advice to everybody, not just new to, but to everybody, any parting advice on what we should be doing as teachers of universities, specifically with respect to being in our university? Any parting advice?
I think question. Yeah, in terms of leadership, what I have noticed in my as one of my problems, or I have when my observation, when I observe many leaders around us, or even nationally or internationally, whenever we see that most of the time, as even a small, even our department, in our as a head of the department, also just a faculty, just a class teacher of your for students, most of the time what happens is we are engulfed by a small minority. Because of that, we think that that's the real data of the whole entire class. When I am a class teacher, I know that a few students are always coming and asking and connecting with me, and I think that they are actually the voice of the whole entire cohort. In fact, it's not. They are actually engulfing me because if I am going to believe that these students, whatever they are saying, of course, they are always saying, oh, wonderful, excellent, awesome, amazing, marvelous, it goes on, so they make me feel happy, so if I'm going to trust on that group, I think I would be in a wrong position because 90% or maybe 80% of the students are not agreeing with these 20%. So I think we should not allow ourselves to be patronized or engulfed by a certain set of group, so that we should liberate that, break that. Of course, that's painful, and also they should also feel some uneasiness, and it's tough. Unless and until we break walls, we will not really reach, and our decision making will be much more biased. So I think that's something we all need to be aware of it all the time. I think that's one of the crises. I think that's one of the questions from Professor Thomas. Crisis you have faced. The same thing, because initially I tried with hierarchy. I thought when I am leaving US, I'm going to assign this person. So I trained him for 5-6 years. I spending all my time, all my discussions, everything, all my phone calls. I thought that person would really act when I leave, but actually absolutely failed, because that became a problem for the growth of the organization. That person became the bottleneck. Everything is controlled only through this thing. So we have to liberate that. You have to break that. And I couldn't break that because of that particular chapter. Still, that chapter is in crisis in Monroe, Louisiana, which I started first. But second chapter onwards, I started this triarchic model. So, which is because because I can really insist on that vision. Otherwise, I'm only working through that person. Vision is given to only one person. Only one person. Vision is not given to a crowd. Vision just a one person. That one person is sharing that vision is get clarified more, collaboratively built it with the help of more people. So make sure that part, because that visionary is, in any leadership, because that's why when the leadership is changing, there is every organization has that kind of, that succession and strategy. Whenever we are moving from one class teacher to another class, or another class teacher is taking over my class, how am I really transferring that data about, am I really doing it? I'm not doing it. I'm reflecting myself. Okay, I'm not answering a question, but I'm reflecting. These are my challenges. Actually, I am facing. This is my problem. So at least realizing it. That's what I feel.
So much. I think that brings us to the end of this very enriching session. For the last 1 hour and 20 minutes, we have deliberated a lot on real life experience, and like I said, stories cannot be contained. It was so lot of lessons we learned, and thank you so much. They say it is all for good, so for whatever reasons you had to come back to Christ University and take up the responsibilities, I'm sure there is a lot of change in the way there are certain things which are looked at, and then whether it is in terms of the SW or all other activities. I remember how once when you were in the auditorium and performing and the whole crowd is up and clapping, to see that there is a leader who's leading from the front in terms of passion or showing the way forward. So I think that we've all, I'm sure all of us will acknowledge that we've had a very wonderful session. Thank you so much for passionately expressing the ideas to us. And then we are all wishing you much more than what is expected, or we wish you great luck in the days to come, in the years to come, with the projects and some more new projects. And I'm sure the faculty, the students at Christ will definitely back and give the support required, because we are moving towards that 100% socially conscious group or team, what we want to call. So thank you very much, Father, in the name of the Vice Chancellor, the entire management, in the name of the Leadership Chair, and all the panelists with me and the participants. We thank you very much, and we wish you a good evening. Thank you, participants, for being very active in the discussion, and a lot of questions. I'm sure there would have been many more questions which probably we could not take, but I'm sure Father will be more than willing to answer any private conversations, maybe on his email, etc. You can just send out questions, and Father will be more than happy to answer. Thank you very much. Do you have anything else to say, Father?
Yeah. Just extension of the partner with that international conference. you are more than willing to, more than welcome to join. It's again open invitation. Again, multiple departments, multiple universities are from, different universities are involved in this. So that kind of a platform where we all can collaborate and say, please let me know, maybe the heads of the department or deans, and I would be more than happy to put that as partner department. Of course, Christ University is a host university. Definitely, I think that's a great opportunity. I thought of sharing that with you all. Thank you. Thank you, Jyoti ma'am, for wonderful moderating this session and also helping me and encouraging me with your kind words. Appreciate you so much. And I appreciate each and every one of you. You spared 1.5 hours, and appreciate it so much. And Dr. Tony and Mr. Sam, thank you so much for this great opportunity. Thank you.
That's it, I think. Bye-bye to all of you till we meet next on the 13th edition of the Leadership Chair Conversations. Thank you very much, and you all have a nice evening. Thank you.